Can you beat Kirby's Return to Dreamland as a pacifist? There are only a few rules for this run, like I can't kill enemies at all, except for the mainline bosses and the mini bosses, which I know what you're gonna say. These rules suck, but hey, it's my video, sucker. And if you enjoyed videos like this, then please consider subscribing to see more challenges like this. Alright, enjoy the video. So now let's start with 1-1, and this level is going as normal until we get to the key area, and I was trying to throw the key past these guys, and I didn't even know that you can jump over these guys. Oh, the door's unlocked. Yep. All right, let's move on. And when we get out of this cave, there is a super ability right here. But for this challenge, we can't use super abilities at all. So I guess I'm skipping all this. But then we get to these flying guys, and these were really hard to pass through because I have a frame of invincibility when an enemy hits me, and then they die right away once I touch them. And after a few tries, I finally passed them and beat the level. But then 1-2 was a lot easier, and I found out in 1-3, if you hit one of the key guys, then they die right away. But besides that, the level was easy. But 1-4 is where the challenge rules are a little bit confusing, because if I go past this rock thing, then this enemy dies. But did Kirby kill the enemy? I'm not gonna count these as Kirby kills, because Kirby didn't do it, gravity did. But then we get to this cave area, and the umbrella killed the enemies here. I'm just kidding, Kirby did. And instead of using the umbrella right here, I just used the beam attack and that was fine. But then we got back outside and oh, come on, not again. But this area was a lot easier than before, thankfully. But it was still a little bit annoying to pass through. And just like that, I beat the level. And of course, Wispy Woods was easy. And just like that, we are off to the second world. 2-1 was pretty good, but there were still a lot of enemies to pass through, but no major problems here. 2-2 was pretty easy, but then we have 2-3. And most of the level was pretty easy, but then we get to this cannon area, and usually you just get in the cannon and just kill a bunch of enemies like this, but you can actually skip the cannon part completely and beating the level without killing a single enemy, except for King Doob, but we don't count him. 2-4 was easy, except for the end where you have to get the super copy ability, and there were some tight squeezes, but thankfully it wasn't impossible. And after killing this guy, we can go to World 3, my least favorite world for this challenge. But 3-1 was pretty easy, but it just took me a while because when I hit these stupid fish, they go on land and die, and there was a super ability that I didn't get, and that was it. There were no problems in 3-2, but 3-3 was difficult because during this pick a door area, I had to squeeze through these enemies, which gets harder when you get more into the level. And this windy part was a little tricky, but after this part that I can barely get through, I beat the level. 3-4 was a pain because there were enemies everywhere, especially near the very end, where I had to move these enemies out of the way, and if I touch any of them, at least one of them dies. And after almost an hour, I beat the level. And after whatever happened here, we can move on to this ice world. 4-1 had this cannon area, which is impossible to complete without killing anything, unfortunately, and I killed a total of 13 enemies, which really sucks, honestly. But let's move on to 4-2, which was pretty easy, thankfully, and so was 4-3. Then 4-4 was very fast paced near the beginning, and that was the only hard part of the level. 4-5 had the snowman, which was kinda hard to pass through, and this dark area was a little annoying, but after that I beat the level, and just like that, we are finally looking for the final part of the ship. So let's get on with World 5. 5-1 was pretty easy, except for these guys, which were pretty annoying because they were super weak. Trust me, that is never a good thing. But besides those bastards, the level was easy. 5-2 was going pretty good until we got to the very end with another goddamn super ability. This particular area was hard because these orange guys kept on following me, which was a pain, but thankfully I can easily pass them. But then we have our old friend Cannon, and we killed yet another 6 enemies. Dude, what? God damn it, fine. 5-3 was a little hard in general because of the wind. And there was this area where a high jump enemy was blocking the way with these orange guys, which was pretty annoying. So I had to jump just at the right time to pass them. And then, oh come on, can I just have a break of murder for 2 seconds? And I killed 8 enemies here. And after that level was over, 5-4 was pretty easy with no issues. 5-5 was next, and this level was a boss rush. And there were a total of 4 bosses in this level, and no enemies in between the boss bosses, which was nice. And then we have this world's boss. And I had to kill these 2 super enemies, unfortunately, to beat the boss for some reason. But after that boss was over, we can finally fix the ship. And we can move on to the 6th world. And these first few parts of 6-1 were pretty easy until... No! Okay, but at least we could skip some of the cannons by just hovering past them. And we can squeeze through the crushers. But we still have to kill 4 enemies right here, which for sure sucks. But hey, I'll take that. But after that level, 6-2 had this room, which was a little tricky, but that's really it. And 6-3 was easy. But then 6-4 had this enemy that I had to kill. But after this dark part of the level, I thought I had to kill this enemy. But then I found a secret path, which was convenient. And then I beat the level. 6-5 was pretty slow paced, but easy. And I'm not counting this because the leather killed them, not Kirby. And that's it for that world. And now we have the final world. 7-1 was extremely hard because there were these enemies that kept on following me. They were just like the pink guys from the beginning, but so much faster. Not to mention all the lava in my way. And this super ability area was a little bit harder to pass. And just like that, I beat the level. 7-2 was pretty slow paced near the beginning, which was a huge problem because these guys just don't want to live. But thankfully they didn't die from Kirby's hands. And oh no! Oh, never mind, it's fine. And after waiting patiently through this part, I beat the level. 7-3 was going pretty good near the beginning, but then we have this part, which definitely scared me, and I was scared for nothing, thankfully. But then we have these mini bosses just hanging out, and thankfully we could skip every single mini boss that we see here. And after that part, we beat the level. And thankfully this world's boss was very easy. And after the big twist that absolutely no one saw coming, we have the hardest part of the challenge. This is the true final boss of the Pacifist challenge. This was extremely hard because I had to hit absolutely no enemies because they die in 1 hit. Because of course they do. On top of that, the dragon is super fast, so it's a lot harder to line up the dragon to pass through some enemies. And I had to have insane reaction time to pass through 90% of these stupid enemies. But after finally an hour of trying, we can finally move on to the next part. And after these areas, I had to kill these 3 enemies, which whatever. And then some ship attacked me. And after this boss, we can just fast forward a little bit until we get to the super ability area. And I had to suck up 3 super abilities just to kill this guy. And after his final form, we can finally beat this boss. And just like that, the challenge was over. And this was definitely a lot harder than I thought. And with my rules, I have killed a total of 28 enemies, which is pretty good. But including all of the bosses, I have killed a total of 58 enemies, which is a lot, but hey, I'll take it. And if you want to see this challenge again, I've done this in Kirby the Forgotten Land, and the video's right here if you want to see that. And that's all I gotta say. Okay, bye.